It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of those resources that are really necessary to execute the big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only TaShara B, who's in the building. And she says it's really time to identify your gifts and discover your calling over and beyond the career that you have. So, TaShara, welcome. Welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
I'm happy to be there. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. I know it's been a long time coming, but you're in the building now. We're excited. They can read your bio, but I'm curious, and I think it's a reasonable question. In today's world, when you have Google, you have AI, you have Bard, you have all this stuff going on, why are people still struggling with identifying their gifts and discovering their calling? Like, why don't they know what it is? Whether they're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 plus, why are they still struggling to identify their calling and their gifts?
Well, based off of just everyday life and understanding that us as human beings have to face the daily aspects of being responsible adults, and just having short-term gains, which can allow us to see an end result. So many of us work jobs to make sure we make ends meet, or we continue to do things to be able to make sure that whatever the end goal is, we can accomplish. However, we're not fulfilled. We're not in a space where it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like you're forced to do it. And the good thing about discovering your gifts is identifying with the things that you can do effortlessly, that you can do with a passion, and it identifies with a purpose. So going from a career or a job or something that is necessary to maintain bills or a lifestyle or just to get ahead and as an adult, many people struggle with being in that sector of being consumed with the comfortability of having a structured flow versus transitioning into their purpose and doing the things that they love. And that's when the journey begins, where you can really understand how mastering your gifts can align you with the joy and happiness that all of us look to have in life.
I'm curious as you was talking, is it possible for someone to kind of change, if I could say it like that? When I say change, with their purpose, can their gifts change over time as they become a different person or a different individual? I feel like I was a different person when I was raising my two adult children now, by the way. And I feel like I've discovered some new gifts at this age. Is it possible? And I guess this is the question. Maybe it isn't, but the question clearly for those folks that are watching: can you identify new gifts and talents as you change and go through different life cycles, depending on what's going on to you in your life?
I think we're all born with these gifts. I think that
Mm.
as we grow and develop, we continue to identify with different gifts as we go through different, what I like to call levels in life, with alignment and with discovering new things and being creative. Having a creative mindset also aligns with your emotional intelligence. And as you mature as an adult in life, I think that's where the key components come together for you to find the joy and happiness and the things that you love. One of the reasons why I feel it's so important that parents ensure like their kids are fully active as young people, as they grow and become adults into adolescence, being diverse with sports and different community events, being getting gaining those social skills so they can identify with what they love. I think it's instilled in us, but I also feel our barriers come from our circumstances, our culture, our environments, which will determine the level of growth that we have, if we'll achieve these goals or have these opportunities, to understand that being that particular type of person can give you more of a fulfilled lifestyle based off of all the transitional phases that you occur as you begin to grow into an adult. So I think it's very necessary people, I feel, know that I feel it's already in you. But the more that you realize, and we hear it all the time, we hear of adults say, I've worked this job 20 years, it's just work, it's just a job. But many of them are not happy. Or they'll try to find something, as we call, like a side gig, or something that they can do that they may consider a hobby, but never even understanding that it can be their change of perspective in life if they poured into their gifts, the things they love that we sometimes consider as a hobby. We can transition into opportunities, and that comes with gifts that we need to be successful in that area. And I think that helps us align with our confidence that's necessary to identify with those gifts as well.
Now you mentioned emotional intelligence, and you kind of went over it kind of fast. You was like, and it also includes your emotional intelligence. And then some folks might step back and say, "Oh, emotional intelligence, Shay. I mean, what is that?" I mean, seriously, like Shay, she said, emotional intelligence is a get component of it. So can you have her slow down for a moment and talk about what is emotional intelligence and why is that? Is that a fair question? It might be a loaded question for you, but I think you can handle it, obviously. But what is emotional intelligence, and how does that play into me making sure I'm walking in my purpose or my passion or in my gifts?
I think many of us have a hard time identifying with our IQ and our EQ. And
Mm.
our IQ is the pieces of the puzzle that we know we have. You ask, is this something that we can develop? If it's something we already have, it's already instilled in you. Like, many have high IQs, but based off their lifestyles and things that they go through, the outcome may be different, although the skill set necessary to achieve it is still there. So this applies to anyone. But your EQ helps you balance out your thought process, the way that you think, how you consume life, how you handle things. Think of it from a business perspective where you have a team, if you're a leader and you're being perceived a certain way, or those surveys that come back based off of how you handle situations, how you're able to communicate effectively, how you're able to analyze things and think strategically. All of that comes with building emotional conscience around that level of intelligence so it can balance out our IQ. And I think that's where many struggle with, because we're consumed with the emotional piece of the circumstances versus balancing it with the skill set and things we know to help us master those gifts. And it's important that we focus on that inner self growth for us to identify with emotional talent, intelligence, areas where we can improve, areas where we can grow. And that's what I mean by, yes, anyone can achieve these things, but the IQ is what's instilled in our DNA. Emotional intelligence comes from gaining more, what I would call, knowledge and growth with the maturity level and different circumstances that allow you to get creative. So that's kind of the best way that I can kind of explain it, if that makes sense.
It made perfect good sense. Very, very well said. Thanks for explaining, by the way. And now the time has come to find who are we talking to? TaShara? I know who you are, right? I know the world may know you are. They do have your bio and everything. They can look and read that, but there's others that are meeting you for the very first time. So can you take a moment and give them a little bit of what's your backstory? Like, who are you? What was that pivotal moment where you said, you know what? I was born for this. This is what I'm going to do. This is the impact I'm going to make. So, backstory to the pivotal moment that led you to doing what you're doing today, please.
Sure, I'm happy to let you know all about it. It all started from my hometown back in Ohio, Toledo, born and raised, where I felt at that time it was time for a career. And that career was strategically thought out, and it was more based off of where I was as a young 20 year old adult, what that would look like. And at that time it was the financial stability. I knew that I would be able to transition to a career path that I would be financially stable. That opened up many doors. After graduating, I relocated to the Carolinas. And during that transitional shift, life was also happening. I became an adult, beginning to mature, understand things in life, but more so, I had to find a job right away. I had a degree, like many others, like were looking for a career now. And I was excited about the relocation. I was very confident about the decisions I was making. I researched the cities. I knew that I had many options there. However, I didn't have the experience to go with it as a new college graduate. So it was a little discouraging coming out of college as a new college graduate, and only credentials and referrals would open up many doors. That's when I began to discover that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And at that moment, I knew I needed to make ends meet. So transitioning to the Carolinas, I got into corporate leadership. And I never forget, the my supervisor at the time contacted me and said, I ran across your resume. And how would you feel about being interested in this particular field? It was corporate sales. And I said, I have a degree now. I'm looking to start a career. I was that determined and focused. But the main thing was financial stability. And he said to me, have you made over $70,000 annually in your life? As a new college grad, no kids, relocating, just living life, it was like the bells were ringing. Like, this is exactly what I was looking for. And that's what made me become open to that particular role. I took the leap of faith until I was able to transition into the healthcare field. However, during that time frame, I felt like it was a part of my season and my reason to of who I am today. Those stepping stones gave me the development I needed. It gave me the team goal driven experience I needed. It gave me the mindset I needed to become a leader, effective leader, and achieve my goals. Within 90 days of my role, I became a top 100 within the company, achieving great business in the Southeast region. That turned into 5 years consecutively generating 51% of their business nationally, within the Southeast region with my team. That grew all the way to sales director role. From district manager to sales director, it opened many doors and allowed me to oversee over 100 to 120 to 153 people at one time. That trickled down, and the culture that I began to create, it became so solid that I wanted to see others achieve the success that I had. So I was totally okay with showing them what I like to call what right looks like, giving them the see one, do one, teach one method, making sure we had a strong foundation structure for us to drive success. And not only that, my goals I would exceed by 20, 30% and give it to my team, where they then would break it down even lower. And before I knew it, within 15 days of the month, we would be 120%, if not higher, to goal. That became created a culture, and with that culture, it allowed me to excel very fast. And what took place was in December of 2018, I acquired a sales director role with a major corporation, and I began to be identified as someone who can be very successful in their role. I didn't have much support with the leadership or growth around their structure. So I did what I knew best. I was in an industry dominated by men. So it kind of put a lot of pressure on me being able to stand with the great ones, especially in this industry. Uh, December of 2018, because it is the holidays, I received a $1.5 million goal for the month. Not only did we achieve it, we exceeded it by 30%. And at that moment, the aha moment clicked and said, if I can do this for them, I can do this for myself. And I gave myself 6 months. I worked off of a salary as well as a commission structure. I lived my career. I had the company car, I had the staff, I had the leadership, but I wasn't fulfilled. I knew that I love helping people. I love seeing the end result. And no matter what I did, it would allow me to get to that point of the happy that I what I loved. It wasn't about the money at that moment. It was about that skill set, that development, to see others grow and excel and become my competition and see them grow and be amazing. And that pivotal change changed my life. Within 6 months, I started my own company, Safety Nest, Necessary Emergency Services and Training. It grew to many other companies, and now I have over four or five, and we're continuing to grow. replicating the same system, the same foundation from what I was taught in my career of what making money I thought was, into my passion and mastering my gifts around mental health, around crisis prevention, around public safety, occupational health, around healthcare. I love community advocacy, doing outreach, working with other organizations, nonprofit, giving back. None of these things took off while I was in a career. I didn't even know it existed. Now I have over 60 sponsors. Johnson and Johnson I've worked with, Chick-fil-A I've worked with, back at home, the whole entire city of Toledo, from Toledo Fire, Toledo Police, the director of public safety. It's grown amazingly well from the support of just the things that I passionately believed in and wanted to share with the community. That level of humanitarian work change a $70,000 salary to a limitless amount of numbers that I couldn't imagine or dream of. And it continues to open up many doors, like it is now meeting you, to gain more exposure and help others identify with those same gifts, give them the right resources and step by step the blueprint of exactly how to do it.
Well, congratulations to you. I mean, that's some huge accomplishments. And one thing we know is you still got better days ahead of you. Isn't that so encouraging? What do you love
Wow,
about
it
what you're
is.
doing now? I can feel the passion. I can feel the energy coming through these lines right now. What do you enjoy most about what you do today?
The giving back piece of it for me is the most fulfilling. Seeing others achieve success or helping others, um, is something that I feel that's just a part of who I am. It wasn't about the money for me. It wasn't about, how the goals, of course, is I'm being successful is great, but hearing someone say thank you and what you've taught me and the things that I've learned from your guidance, your mentorship, your development, and seeing their end result and they're confident. The one thing, one of my company's Conference in a Cup, that's what we strive for. What's in your cup? Identifying with your gifts so you can let it overflow. That is always going to be my mission. But the purpose of it all is to ensure that I'm fulfilled. And the only way I'm able to understand how I'm fulfilled is that level of discernment to understand my calling, who I am, why I was placed on this earth. What is my purpose? And I identify with my purpose is in the community, is serving others, is giving back. So it's now pushed me into a different level of humanitarian work where I didn't know community would be a factor. And it's not even about the money, but to build the foundation of what our world needs. We need more people who care enough to be a resource, to let people know that there's someone there who understands and help them achieve their goals. Whether if you're a small mom and pop or low income, to someone who's very successful and trying to reach new levels. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to go up and down the scale to use some of the resources and skill sets that I have to help so many around the world.
Wow. You know, one of the things I like to acknowledge you, one, for just the amount of service that you give and give to others, number one. And number two, one of my favorite questions I ask, and I love asking this question, it's the time where the audience can lean in and just let you know the question going to be, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, right? And I know that you have so many mentors along this journey. It's almost unfair. And maybe little piece here, little piece there, little piece there. But as you step back in the time you have, which is only a few seconds here, obviously, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've been given that's helped you on your journey of life? And you at home, you listening, you tuning in, you can lean forward because you too can benefit and you can use this for the rest of your life.
The one thing I can and I like to share with everyone, I'm so very passionate about, knowledge is power. It's important to read books, get financial literacy, gain the mentorship, get around those that you inspire to be, and try. The only thing you can do is try. That's the only way you'll know if it works. So, knowledge is power. And in order to gain knowledge, it takes those steps in life to gain it. And any chance you get, gain the knowledge that's necessary for what it is in life that you want, whether if it's to become a better person, if you're a family person and you need the help with partnership, relationships, how to build that, working with your kids as they grow, building those relationships, being a business owner, the steps you need, the foundation to achieve generating income and helping others develop. Knowledge is powerful and you can go so very far with it. The alignment is real. The moment you begin to pour into your own cup, the everything you asked for in life will come to you. It's not forced, only gained. That's the best advice I can give anyone, to understand how powerful knowledge is and to pour into your own cup. Read books, get around people you love, and continue to develop your brain cells each and every day.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, by the way. We have a segment here called Today is My January 1st. And for those folks that are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. For those folks that are seasoned, bet you're here every night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go and say those words right now. Today is my January 1st. The new folks, welcome to the family. Today is my January 1st represents a personal mantra that we have. It's a do over. It's a fresh start. Today is my January 1st means the past. No matter what the past is, it no longer equals the future. And so my question for TaShara on the other side is, what's one of the setbacks you've had in your life, or one of the challenges you've had along this journey that set you back, that you had to bounce back from? And number two, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What goes through your mind?
Well, I can say over the past year or so, I've went through growth phases, growing pains is what I like to call them. I took a step back from many of organizations and spent a lot of time evaluating our goals, our wildly important goals, what's working, what's not, what we need to do better. During that time, I also built a lot of spiritual growth with it that allowed me to really identify with everything that was necessary for the next level of where I was going in life. It was probably one of the best experiences, but it was very challenging because when you believe in your dreams, there's nothing that will get in the way of it. So I was willing to take as much time as needed to digress, regroup, and mentally be prepared for what I needed. This is my January 1st. The experience that I'm have, I also had opportunities coming my way during that time that I knew I didn't see the value. It wasn't for me. It was great, but it wasn't for me. I've turned down opportunities because I believe so much in my vision. Had I not done that, the overflow of what God has given me, if not more, has completely changed my life. And I wake up every day feeling like every day's my January 1st, because every day comes a new opportunity. Every day there's a new relationship being built. Every day there's someone calling for a referral or new opportunities open. And this is what I pray for: continuous growth. And it took time for me to manifest all the seeds the little mustard seeds I've planted. I'm now in harvest season from the what was necessary. So I encourage those to stay in season of your January 1st, because if you feel like that every day, it's life changing for you. And when I get to heaven, I want God to know I use all of my gifts. I've been used in a way to where I left my mark. My legacy is there, and I'm grateful to be the person He's chosen to do just that. So that's how I feel about my January 1st.
So well said. So well said. As we come down the home stretch, I'm curious, what do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world?
What I like to do, I have serenity is good for me. I love staying grounded. So anywhere by the water, the ocean, I absolutely love. I love to travel. Family is so important. I try to spend more time. One thing about transition to entrepreneurship and becoming a business owner was work-life balance. So every time I'm spending time with all of my siblings, and just balancing the time I never have to myself. So many may not know it. When it comes to traveling, I travel a lot, but I like being in a place of serenity. So home is my sanctuary. Also, I'm a tennis fanatic. I love sports, so I can, you know, digress that way. And I kind of, just the self care dynamics of what life consists of each week. But I'm a pretty simple girl. I'm pretty laid back. I just like to enjoy the simple things in life. I can listen to some great Brian Culberson or Boney James,
Now go ahead now. Go
overlooking
ahead.
the sunset, relaxing, and I'm completely at peace and fulfilled. So that's my serenity.
Cool stuff. Um, how can folks? Two questions: what type of clients are you working with these days, if any? And number two, how can people connect with you over and beyond the conversation that you and I are having right now?
Sure. My clients are so diverse. I've meet so many because I have a public safety company, beauty, health, and wellness, boutique. There's so many aspects in healthcare and such. It comes very naturally. This allows me to identify with my mentor and coaching skills, and then build the resources around their specific needs. So it becomes very diverse because I have a plethora of subject matter experts on my team that allows us to align with the structure needed. So we go over full consultations, identifying with your goals, your wildly important goals, your SMART goals, your objectives, your outcomes, all the things that are necessary to help you build into achieving these behaviors and implementing them week over week to see the end result. And in order for you to have an opportunity to do the same and build out a way to understand how to get there, what to do, having someone that holds you accountable and seeing your own growth week over week, you can check out my link tree slash TaShara B. And on there, you'll see a variety of different URL links. Click the link for consultation. All of my consultations are currently free right now. My mentorship programs is currently open, and we will look forward to seeing you and figuring out how we can also help you improve in your life, identifying your gifts, pouring into your cup, and doing what you love, discovering your calling versus your career.
Do what you love. Discover your calling versus your career. Pour into your cup. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. Thank you to audience. Thank you for tuning in. Without you, there is no show, by the way. And I never get tired of saying this. Every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I look for this moment to remind you that you're awesome if you haven't heard that today, that you're amazing that you haven't heard that today, that you're super fantastic, that you're a game changer, and that for you, today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is still yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and we wish you success. Good night, TaShara. Peace, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.